Hello guys, today we're going to talk about a couple that actually went missing back in 1993. On August 15th, Robert Anderson and Kristin Deide were last seen near Wishick, North Dakota. They had actually went to the area to pick up her kids from her parents. And now Robert at the time of the disappearance was 31 years old and he would currently be 62. He was 5'11", 180 pounds, and he had brown hair and blue eyes. Kristin was 30 years old, and she would be 61 years old today. She was 5'3" and 110 pounds. She had brown hair and blue eyes. They were last seen by Wishick, North Dakota, as I mentioned. They had just stopped at Kristin's parents to try to pick up her children, but they were unsuccessful in this. After they left Kristin's parents, this was the last time they were seen. So now both Kristin and Robert were from Minnesota originally. So they had just come to Wishick, North Dakota to pick up Kristin's children. They basically left all their belongings at home in Minnesota. There was no sign whatsoever that they were planning to leave or go anywhere other than that brief trip to get their children. So a couple days after they went missing, Robert's 1979 Dodge van was found abandoned in Aberdeen, South Dakota. It was in a railroad station parking lot, and like I mentioned, it was actually found 5 days, after they went missing. So initially, one of the main suspects in this disappearance was Kristin's husband. At the time, she was going through a divorce with her husband, Clyde. So Clyde actually spent the night in the Logan County Jail because he wouldn't supply a hair sample to the sheriff's deputy. The sheriff had him spend the night in the local jail. He then, the next morning, supplied the hair sample. After speaking and investigating with the sheriffs, he wasn't brought to trial and he wasn't tried for anything. So according to the law and everything, he was cleared. Basically then, there was a no contact order issued in May of 1993 from Kristin against Clyde. He had been somewhat violent towards her in a domestic abuse situation. And basically, after this whole ordeal, Clyde actually obtained full custody of their children that they were battling for at the time of her disappearance. Kristin's husband Clyde also coincidentally moved to South Dakota after the incident and opened up a chiropractic business. So, in my opinion, it does sound like the couple was victim of foul play. However, there's no evidence of this whatsoever. There's no blood, there's no weapon, there's no body, right? Basically, when they were seen in North Dakota and then their van is found in South Dakota, nowhere near where their home is from, and it's abandoned by a railroad station, I do believe it was meant to make it look like whoever took the car got on the train and took off. Or maybe it looks like they got on the train and took off. So I think it was meant to look a certain way. I don't think that they intentionally disappeared. I don't think that they would have had the resources. I think that they would have popped up on the radar somewhere. Obviously, this is a potential. They could have hopped on that train and left Dodge, left town. But again, with leaving all their belongings and leaving the car and not planning and not having the money most likely to do so, that sounds less likely. I guess most cases, I think they check the ex-husband going through the divorce at the time for a reason. I think that person would maybe have the most motive, but without any evidence, I don't know either way, obviously. So that's kind of my opinion. I feel they could have been victim of foul play. I feel that in a rural, very, very rural area such as Wishick, North Dakota, that's probably never seen a murder or a kidnapping, I would say that maybe somebody followed them to that area that had a motive, and maybe they flashed their lights and got them to pull over, and when they did, Kristin and Robert had a gun pulled on them, They were forced to comply. Maybe they were forced to drive somewhere, and maybe whoever did this did something to them. I don't know, but this just sounds very fishy to me. I'm certainly not an investigator, so just my opinion. But if you have any information whatsoever on this very, very sad case, please keep in mind that Kristin's children are likely fully grown now, and Kristin's family deserves answers, so please contact the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation at 701-328-5500. Thank you.